The night was quiet but not peaceful. The neon lights of the city flickered outside the small cafe where a young human waiter worked late hours. His name was Aaron, and he was used to tired faces, cheap tips, and long nights. The cafe sat at the edge of the alien district, a place where humans and aliens crossed paths but rarely spoke to each other. Aaron wiped a table with slow hands. He thought the night would end like all the others, boring and silent. But then, through the window, he saw her. A small figure stood outside in the rain, her silver hair sticking to her cheeks. Her clothes were torn, her arms wrapped around her thin body. She looked too young, too weak, and too lost. At first, Aaron thought she was just another homeless wanderer. But when her eyes lifted and met his heart jumped. They were not human eyes. They glowed faint blue, shining like the night sky itself. The girl was alien. He froze, remembering the warnings. People said never to trust her kind. Rumors spread in the city about how dangerous they were. Some even claimed her people could kill with a single touch, but what Aaron saw was not danger, it was hunger, fear, and loneliness. The girl pressed her forehead against the glass. Her lips moved as if whispering, but the sound was lost in the rain. Aaron looked around the cafe. Only one old man sat in the corner reading a paper. The manager was asleep in the back room. No one would notice. His hand shook as he walked toward the door. He told himself not to do it, not to get involved. But when he opened the door, the girl flinched as if she expected a blow. His chest tightened. He reached out, offering his hand. She hesitated, her glowing eyes locked on him. Then slowly, she stepped inside. The warmth of the cafe wrapped around her. She shivered as water dripped from her hair. Aaron guided her to a corner table. He could smell smoke on her clothes. Her feet were bare and cut. Whoever she was, she had been running without asking. Aaron went to the kitchen and placed a bowl of hot stew in front of her. She stared at it like it was treasure. Her thin fingers gripped the spoon, and she ate. Fast, too fast, as if afraid someone would take it away. Slow down, Aaron whispered. It's safe here. She looked at him again. Her eyes softened for a moment. Then she spoke, her voice trembling. The words were strange, her language broken, but he understood enough. She thanked him. Aaron sat across from her. He wanted to ask who she was, why she was out there, but before he could, the cafe door creaked. 3 men stepped inside. Their clothes were dark, their eyes sharp. They scanned the room like hunters. Aaron felt the girl freeze. Her spoon clattered against the bowl. She pulled her hood over her head and lowered her face. His heartbeat quickened. He knew the men were not here for food. The leader of the 3 walked to the counter. His voice was smooth but heavy. We're looking for someone, he said. A girl, not human. She is dangerous. If you see her, report at once. Aaron forced a calm face. His mind raced. He glanced at the girl who shook her head desperately. Her lips formed a silent plea. His chest tightened again. He had a choice. He could stay silent and safe, or he could protect her. The leader's eyes landed on Aaron. You boy seen anything? Aaron swallowed hard. He shook his head. Just cleaning up, he said. His voice was steady, but his palms were sweating. The men looked around the cafe. The old man in the corner pretended not to listen. After a tense moment, the leader turned and walked out. The others followed. The door shut, leaving silence. The girl exhaled sharply, her shoulders trembling. She looked at Aaron with wide eyes, filled with something more than fear. It was trust. He had protected her even though he had no reason to. Aaron sat back, trying to breathe. He was just a waiter, a nobody. But tonight, with one simple act of kindness, he had stepped into something far bigger, something he did not understand yet. Outside, thunder rolled. Lights from ships in the sky blinked through the clouds. The city was restless. The girl whispered again, this time in a voice so soft only he could hear. They will come, she said, and now you are part of it. Aaron did not know what she meant, but deep down, he felt it. His life would never be the same again. The cafe was dark after the men left. Only the sound of rain on the windows filled the silence. Aaron sat across from the girl, still trying to calm his racing heart. He had lied to strangers who looked like killers, and he had protected someone he didn't even know. The girl's hands were still trembling as she pushed the empty bowl away. She looked weak, but her eyes burned bright with fear. Aaron leaned closer, lowering his voice. "Who are they? Why are they after you?" At first she said nothing, her lips pressed tight as if afraid words themselves could bring danger. Then she whispered, her voice broken. "Hunters." She lifted her sleeve to show a strange mark on her arm, glowing, faint blue. It looked like a symbol carved into her skin, but alive. Aaron frowned. "What is that?" Her gaze locked with his. "Seal," she said. "Royal blood." The words struck him like lightning. He stared at her, trying to make sense. She looked so fragile, yet she was speaking about royalty. The rain outside grew louder, like drums echoing the weight of her words. "My people." "War," she said, struggling with the human tongue. "They want me dead." Aaron's stomach turned. He remembered the rumors, whispers in the city that alien factions were fighting far beyond the human colonies. He never cared before. It was just background noise to a simple life of cleaning tables and serving meals. But now that war had entered his cafe, the girl leaned forward, her voice urgent. "You help. You hide." She looked at him as if his answer meant life or death. Aaron rubbed his hands against his apron. He wanted to say no, to walk away. He was only a waiter. He was not a soldier, not a hero. But when he looked at her face, pale and shaking, something inside him refused to abandon her. He nodded. "Stay in the basement," he said softly. "It's the only place safe." Her eyes softened. A spark of relief crossed her face. "Thank you," she whispered. Aaron led her through the narrow kitchen and down the creaking stairs into the cafe's basement. The air was damp, filled with the smell of old boxes and cleaning supplies. He laid a blanket on a pile of sacks. She sat down, curling up like a wounded bird. As he turned to leave, she spoke again. "Name?" Aaron paused. "Aaron," she repeated it slowly. "Aaron." Her voice carried a strange warmth. Then she placed her hand on her chest. "Lyra." Her name lingered in his mind as he climbed the stairs. Lyra. The alien girl hunted by killers. The girl with royal blood. But before he could even process what it meant, the cafe bell rang upstairs. Aaron's heart jumped. He rushed up, wiping his hands quickly. At the counter stood two soldiers in black armor, their eyes cold, their weapons holstered but ready. "Evening," one said. His voice was firm. "We are searching for a fugitive. She is small, pale, alien. Have you seen anyone unusual tonight?" Aaron's mouth went dry. He forced a tired smile. "Just me, sir. Long shift. Not much business in the rain." The soldier's eyes scanned the room, sharp and hungry. Aaron's heartbeat thundered in his chest. He thought they could hear it. His palms sweated. The soldiers lingered, then exchanged a glance. Finally, they turned to leave. But just as they stepped out, one soldier paused. His gaze fell on the floor. A single wet footprint trailed from the door toward the kitchen. Aaron's stomach dropped. "Who else was here?" the soldier asked slowly. Aaron's mind raced. In that moment, he remembered the old man with the newspaper who had left earlier. He swallowed and forced the lie. "Customer. Sat there. Left not long ago. Footprints must be his." The soldier narrowed his eyes, but after a long silence, he walked out into the rain. The door closed. Aaron collapsed against the counter. His chest rose and fell like he had run a mile. He had lied again, but it had worked for now. When he returned to the basement, Lyra looked up at him with wide eyes. "Danger," she whispered. "They will not stop." Aaron sat on the bottom step, rubbing his face. "Why me? Why bring this to me? I'm just a waiter." Lyra shook her head slowly. "Not just waiter." Her hand touched the glowing seal on her arm. "Fate chooses strange hands." Her words echoed in the damp basement air. Aaron wanted to laugh, but the weight of her gaze silenced him. She believed it. She believed he was now part of her story. Above them, thunder cracked again. The city was not safe. And neither was he anymore. Aaron realized something terrifying. He had crossed a line he could never return from by saving her, by lying for her. He had already chosen. The rain did not stop. It fell harder, tapping against the cafe windows like endless fingers. Aaron sat upstairs with his head in his hands. The basement door below him felt heavier than stone. He could still see the glow of Lyra's seal in his mind, still hear her words. Fate chooses strange hands. He wanted to believe he was only a waiter, nothing more. But deep down, he knew the moment he gave her food, everything had changed. Lyra stayed hidden in the basement, silent as the shadows. Aaron worked his shift as if nothing was wrong, but every time the bell above the cafe door rang, his chest tightened. Every stranger's face became a threat, every step closer to discovery. By midnight, the streets outside filled with armored patrols. Soldiers marched in groups, scanning doorways, shining lights through windows. Loudspeakers echoed warnings. The ban, fugitive is dangerous, report all sightings. The city felt less like home and more like a trap. Aaron tried to sleep on the counter, but the sound of engines outside dragged him awake. He peeked out the window. His blood ran cold. A black hover vehicle stopped near the cafe. Its symbol matched the glowing mark on Lyra's arm. Before he could move, the cafe door rattled violently. Heavy fists pounded. Open by order of the authority. Aaron's heart hammered. He rushed down to the basement. Lyra was already standing, her eyes wide, the seal on her arm glowing brighter. "They found me," she whispered. Aaron shook, his head quickly. "No. We're getting out." He pulled open the back door, rain pouring in like a flood. He grabbed her hand, cold and trembling, and they slipped into the narrow alley. The pounding on the cafe door grew louder behind them. Then the sound of boots crashing inside. Voices shouted, "Search every corner." Aaron and Lyra ran through the alleys. The city at night was a maze of neon signs, dripping pipes and broken bridges. They splashed through puddles, hiding in shadows. Every time Lyra stumbled, Aaron pulled her forward. Every time he slowed, her glowing eyes pushed him to keep going. But the hunters were close. Flashlights cut through the dark. Dogs barked. Boots echoed on metal. The city seemed alive with pursuit. They turned a corner only to find a patrol ahead, soldiers scanning rooftops. Aaron froze, his breath caught in his throat. Lyra squeezed his hand. He looked around desperately, then saw a half-open vent in the wall. Without thinking, he pushed Lyra inside first, then crawled in after her. The vent was narrow, cold, and dripping with water. They crawled through the dark as soldiers' voices echoed outside. One soldier's beam of light passed across the vent opening. Aaron held his breath. His chest burned. Beside him, Lyra's small body trembled. Her glowing eyes dimmed as she forced herself to stay silent. The beam passed, and the voices faded when, they finally crawled out of the vent. They landed in an abandoned market. Broken stalls stood like skeletons. Neon lights flickered weakly above. Lyra leaned against a wall, her breath ragged. "You could leave," she whispered. "They want me, not you." Aaron stared at her, water dripping from his hair. His chest heaved with exhaustion. "I can't," he said. "If I walk away, they'll find you. You won't last the night." Lyra's eyes softened, but sadness lingered. "Human heart, stronger than I was told," she murmured. Before Aaron could answer, a sudden explosion shook the air. Fire lit the skyline as a ship crashed into a distant tower. Sirens wailed. The war was spilling into the city. Lyra clutched her arm, the seal, pulsing wildly. "They know where I am," she whispered. "They feel the mark." Aaron grabbed her shoulders, forcing her to meet his eyes. "Then we keep moving," he said firmly. "We find somewhere they can't track you." She shook, her head, tears mixing with rain. "Nowhere safe, not on this world." Aaron opened his mouth to argue, but then he saw them. Shadows moving fast at the far end of the market. Soldiers fanning out, their weapons glowing. They were surrounded, Aaron pulled Lyra behind a stall. His mind raced. He spotted a service tunnel entrance half buried under debris. There, he whispered. They dashed for it as shouts erupted behind them. A beam of plasma burned across the market, hitting the stall where they had been. The wood exploded into fire. Aaron pushed Lyra into the tunnel first, heat licking it. His back inside the tunnel, darkness swallowed them. Their footsteps echoed as they ran deeper. The sounds of the soldiers chasing faded slowly, replaced by the rumble of distant machines. Finally, they stopped, gasping for air. Lyra leaned against the wall, clutching her glowing arm. Aaron bent forward, trying to catch his breath. "This is just the beginning," Lyra said softly. Her voice broken but certain. "The war follows me, it will follow you too." Aaron straightened, his chest still heaving. He wanted to deny it, to say he would find a way out. But the truth was clear in her eyes. His kindness had tied him to her fate. And now, the chase had only begun. The tunnel stretched deeper than Aaron expected. The air was damp, filled with dust and the faint smell of old machinery. Water dripped from pipes above, echoing into the silence. Lyra walked close beside him, her glowing arm faintly lighting the way. Aaron wiped rain from his forehead. His heart still raced from the chase above. He had no plan, no idea where the tunnel would lead, but at least the soldiers were gone for now. As they walked, Lyra stumbled. Aaron caught her before she fell. Her skin was cold and she winced in pain. The mark on her arm glowed brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. "What's happening to you?" Aaron asked, his voice low. Lyra shook her head weakly. "Seal reacts. The closer they come, the stronger it burns." She took a shaky breath. "But also, it guides." Aaron frowned. "Guides where?" Before she could answer, the tunnel widened, revealing a massive chamber hidden beneath the city. Rusted, metal pillars rose into the dark ceiling. At the center stood a stone platform, and on it lay a strange object, glowing faintly. Lyra's eyes widened. Her lips parted as if she recognized it. She stepped closer, her glowing arm pulsing in rhythm with the object. Aaron followed cautiously. "What is it?" Lyra knelt before the platform. Her trembling fingers hovered above the object. It was small, no bigger than her hand, shaped like a crystal, but alive. Blue light pulsed within it, slow and steady. "Key," she whispered. "Ancient, from my people." Her voice shook with awe. "I never thought I would find it here." Aaron stepped closer. "What does it do?" Lyra turned to him, her eyes glimmered. "It chooses. Only heart without greed can hold it." Aaron almost laughed. "Then it won't want me, I'm just a waiter." Lyra shook her head firmly. "No, you are more. You gave food when others gave fear. You lied to save me when truth meant safety. Your heart is different." Her words struck him. He looked at the glowing crystal, doubt heavy in his chest. "And what if I'm not the one?" he asked. "What if I touch it and it kills me?" Lyra stared at him, then slowly took his hand. Her small, cold fingers pressed against his. "Trust," she whispered. "I trust you. Do you trust me?" Aaron's breath caught. Her eyes held no fear now, only belief. He swallowed hard and nodded. Together, they reached for the crystal. The moment his hand touched it, the chamber filled with light. Energy surged through his body, burning yet not painful. The crystal lifted into the air, spinning before his chest, then sank slowly until it rested against his skin, merging into him. Aaron gasped. His heart pounded as if fire had entered his veins. Images flashed in his mind. Stars, ships, battles, voices of 1,000 alien ancestors. Then silence. The glow faded, leaving only the mark of light now etched across his chest. Lyra stared at him with wide eyes. "It chose you," she whispered in awe. "Human. Chosen by the key." Aaron stumbled back, shaking. "I don't understand why me. I didn't ask for this." Lyra rose, standing taller now despite her weakness. "Because kindness is stronger than power. The key knows this. Before Aaron could respond, a distant rumble shook the chamber. The sound of boots and engines echoed through the tunnels. The hunters were coming. Aaron looked at the entrance, panic rising. "They found us!" Lyra grabbed his arm, her voice urgent. "With the key we can escape. It will awaken what sleeps here." She pointed to the walls of the chamber. Symbols carved into the metal began to glow. Machinery stirred. Dust fell from the ceiling. Aaron's chest tightened. He had no idea what she meant, but the ground itself began to tremble. Massive. Gears turned and the platform shifted, revealing a staircase leading even deeper. "Go," Lyra urged. "Now!" They ran down the steps as the chamber shook. Above them, voices shouted. Soldiers stormed into the tunnel. Plasma fire lit the walls. Shots blasted against the ancient stone. Aaron and Lyra vanished deeper, guided by the glowing light now pulsing from his chest. The staircase opened into another vast cavern, and there, hidden under the earth, rested something Aaron could hardly believe. A ship, ancient and silent, its surface glowing faintly with the same light now burning inside him. Aaron's mouth went dry, he whispered. "What is this?" Lyra's voice trembled with awe. "Our last hope," she said. "And now, yours too." The cavern shook as if the earth itself had awakened. Ancient dust rained down from the ceiling. The ship before them glowed brighter, lines of blue light running across its hull like veins. Aaron stood frozen, his heart pounding. The mark on his chest pulsed in rhythm with the ship. Lyra looked at him, her eyes wide. "It answers you," she whispered. "Only you." Aaron shook his head quickly. "I don't even know what to do. I can't fly something like this." Lyra stepped closer, her voice firm despite her trembling body. "The key will guide you. It chose you. Trust it." Before he could argue, voices roared from the tunnels above. Soldiers poured into the chamber. Their lights cut through the dust. Their weapons glowed red. "There they are!" one shouted. Aaron's chest tightened. He grabbed Lyra's hand and ran toward the ship. Its surface hummed as they approached. A ramp slid open with a hiss as if welcoming them. They rushed inside. The interior was dark but alive. Panels lit up at their touch. Symbols glowed across the walls. A chair sat in the center, surrounded by controls Aaron didn't recognize. "Sit," Lyra urged, pointing at the chair. "It will bond." Aaron hesitated, but plasma fire blasted through the cavern. Soldiers stormed closer. He had no choice. He sat. The moment he touched the chair, light exploded around him. The ship roared to life. Symbols carved into the walls burned with power. The controls shifted, wrapping around his arms, merging with his chest mark. Aaron gasped, visions flashing in his mind again. Stars, battles, roots through the skies. Lyra stumbled beside him, holding the walls for support. "You see it, don't you?" she whispered. "The path," Aaron nodded shakily. I think I do." A warning blast shook the ship. The cavern lit up with fire as soldiers fired again. Aaron's hands moved without thought. Guided by the key, the ship's systems activated, shields flared. A barrier of blue light blocked the next blast. Lyra's eyes widened. "You did it." Aaron could hardly believe it himself. "I just thought it." The ship's engines hummed, the cavern walls trembling as ancient power surged. Dust and rock fell as the soldiers fired again. The ship groaned, desperate to break free. Aaron clenched his jaw. "Hold on," he shouted. His hands moved across the glowing controls. The ship lifted from the ground. Stones cracked and fell as the engines ignited. Soldiers shouted, some ran, others fired wildly. Plasma bolts sparked harmlessly against the shields. With a roar, the ship tore through the cavern roof. Fire and rock blasted outward as they surged. Into the storm above, rain sizzled against the glowing hull. The city lights spread beneath them, tiny compared to the ship's rising power. Lyra gripped the edge of the chair, her eyes glowing in the light. "You fly it like you were born to." Aaron shook his head, sweat dripping. "No, it's the key, it's showing me." Below, alarms blared across the city. Dozens of ships lifted from the towers, hunters chasing them like hawks. Blue lights cut through the clouds as fleets formed. Aaron's chest tightened. They're coming. The key pulsed brighter against his chest, guiding his hands. Aaron pulled the controls. The ship rolled, plasma fire streaking past. He fired back without knowing how. Beams of pure light shot from the ship, striking the hunters. Explosions lit the sky. Lyra stared in awe. You are no waiter now. You are warrior. Aaron gritted his teeth. I'm still just me, and I'm trying not to die. The chase turned into a battle above the city. Hunters swarmed, their weapons raining fire. Aaron dodged and weaved, guided by visions in his mind. The ship moved like it had waited centuries for this moment. One hunter ship struck their shields, shaking them violently. Sparks burst inside. Lyra cried out, clutching her chest. Aaron reached toward her, but the controls locked him in place. Stay with me, he shouted. Don't give up now. Her glowing eyes met his, determination burning. Not leaving you, she said weakly. Never. Aaron turned back to the battle, fury rising. He guided the ship higher, pushing through the clouds. Hunters followed, but the key whispered. Paths to him, routes they couldn't see. He spun through storms, lightning flashing around them, yet even as they rose, more hunters appeared ahead. A wall of ships blocking the skies. Aaron's breath caught. There were too many, Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. The key. It can do more, trust it, give it all. Aaron closed his eyes, his chest burning. He reached deep, letting the fire of the key fill him. His fear melted into determination. The ship roared, lights blazing brighter than the storm with a single command. Beams of pure energy erupted, slicing through the blockade. Hunters exploded in fire. The path opened. Aaron gasped for air, sweat dripping. Lyra smiled weakly through her pain. You see, human heart can move stars. Aaron almost laughed, almost cried. But the danger was not over. Behind them, more ships rose, endless as the storm. The storm. Clouds split apart. Lightning flashed across the sky, and beyond them Aaron saw the fleet. Dozens of massive ships floated in formation, their weapons glowing like 1,000 suns. They were waiting for him and Lyra. Aaron's chest pounded. His hands gripped the glowing controls. Sweat dripped down his face. We can't fight all of them, he whispered. Lyra stood beside him, her body weak but her eyes strong. The key chose you. It will show the way, she said, her voice trembling yet filled with belief. Aaron wanted to scream. He was a waiter, not a warrior. He had spent his life carrying trays, not piloting starships. But the key inside his chest pulsed with fire, whispering paths, guiding his every move. It did not care what he thought of himself. It cared only that he had the heart to act. The first wave of hunter ships surged forward. Plasma fire streaked toward them. Aaron jerked the controls. The ancient ship rolled through the storm, dodging blasts with impossible speed. Lightning lit the sky as explosions followed. He clenched his jaw, guiding the ship into a dive. Hunters chased, firing endlessly. Aaron's hands moved faster than thought. His body followed visions burned into his mind by the key. Beams of energy shot from the ship's core, blasting hunters into fire. Lyra held the walls for balance, her glowing seal pulsing. They fear you already, she said, her voice breaking. They never expected a human to fight like this. Aaron shook his head, teeth gritted. I don't fight like this. The ship fights through me. Another blast struck the shields, shaking the cabin violently. Sparks showered from the ceiling. Aaron coughed, smoke filling the air. We won't last forever, he muttered. The key burned against his chest. Brighter, louder. His vision blurred as images flashed. A path opened in his mind. Through the fleet, past their blockade, toward the stars beyond. He saw it clearly, like a thread of light. I see it, he whispered. I know where to go. Lyra leaned closer, her voice urgent. Then go, follow it, trust the key. Aaron pulled the ship upward. Engines roared, shields glowed. He surged into the fleet's formation. Plasma fire rained around them. Hunters swarmed, but Aaron followed the light thread. In his mind, weaving through the chaos, the hunters tried to cut him off. But he was faster, sharper, guided by something beyond human reflex. He spun the ship between enemy blasts, firing beams that cut ships apart in bursts of fire. The battlefield became his arena. The waiter was gone. In his place stood something new, something dangerous. Lyra watched him, awe in her eyes. You are no longer servant of tables, Aaron. You are servant of destiny. Her words struck deep. Aaron didn't feel like destiny. He felt like survival. But as more hunters exploded in fire behind him, he realized he was winning. Then the massive flagship moved. Its cannons glowed. Red, a beam of destruction fired across the sky. Aaron yanked the ship aside. The beam scorched past them, shaking clouds into fire. He gasped, his chest burning. We can't take another hit like that. The key pulsed harder, almost painful now. Aaron's vision blurred. He saw flashes of the flagship's core, weak points hidden inside. The key whispered, "Strike there." Aaron swallowed hard. "We have one chance." Lyra touched his shoulder, her voice soft but fierce. "Then take it, human heart breaks walls that seem unbreakable." Aaron tightened his grip on the controls. He spun the ship upward, then dove straight toward the flagship. Fire rained from its cannons, hunters screamed around them. But Aaron did not flinch. He followed the light in his chest. Closer, closer. The flagship's cannons roared. The heat seared the hull. Lyra gripped the seat, her eyes glowing. "Now," she shouted. Aaron unleashed the ship's core. A beam brighter than lightning burst forth, piercing the flagship's heart. For a moment, silence ruled the sky. Then the massive ship exploded, fire stretching across the clouds. The shockwave threw them back. The ship rattled but held. Aaron gasped for air, his chest burned, his arms trembled, but the flagship was gone. The rest of the hunters hesitated. Ships scattered in panic. The fleet broke apart. Lyra smiled weakly, tears in her glowing eyes. "They will tell stories of this night," she whispered. "Of the human who fought gods." Aaron slumped in the chair, exhaustion flooding him. He shook his head slowly. "I didn't fight gods. I just wanted to keep you alive." But even as he spoke, he knew it was more. The city, the skies, the war itself had shifted. And it was because of him. The wreckage of the flagship still burned in the storm clouds. Fire and lightning mixed across the night sky. Aaron sat in the ancient chair, his chest heaving. His body trembled with exhaustion. His hands ached from gripping the glowing controls. But his eyes stayed locked on the screen before him. Beyond the scattered hunters, new shapes appeared. Massive shadows sliding through the storm. Their size dwarfed the ships he had just destroyed. These were not hunters, these were war vessels, black and endless. Their lights gleamed red, their weapons already primed. Aaron swallowed hard. "We can't fight that." "Not all of them." Lyra stood beside him, weak but unbroken, her glowing eyes fixed on the approaching fleet. "We don't need to win here," she whispered. "We only need to survive. The galaxy must see what you did tonight. A human standing against an empire. That story will spread faster than fire." Aaron shook his head. "I'm no hero, I just—" Lyra interrupted softly. "You gave kindness. That kindness changed destiny. That is what heroes are." The ship rumbled as more hunters launched. Plasma beams cut across the skies. Aaron's instinct screamed to run. The key pulsed inside his chest, burning hotter than ever. It showed him visions of stars, distant places, far beyond this world. "There's a path out," Aaron whispered. "Through the storm, past their blockade. But it's dangerous." Lyra placed her hand on his shoulder, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Danger is where hope is born. Take us there, Aaron." He nodded, gripping the controls. The ship roared as he angled it toward the storm. Hunters closed in from every side. Their beams streaked through the air. Aaron rolled the ship, dodging fire. His chest ached as the key guided him faster, sharper. Lightning struck around them. Thunder boomed. The ancient ship weaved through the chaos as if it had flown these skies for centuries. Aaron felt himself fading into the rhythm of the key, his body no longer separate from the ship. He was the ship, and it was him. The blockade loomed ahead. War vessels lined in formation. Their cannons glowed with deadly power. Aaron's breath caught. If he made one mistake, they would both die. Lyra leaned close, whispering, "I trust you." Her words steadied him. He clenched his jaw, then hold on. He pushed the engines to their limit. The ship screamed through. The storm, plasma fire rained down, shields flared, cracking under the force. Aaron's vision blurred. The key burned hotter, guiding him like a star. At the last second, he dove. The ship rolled through a narrow gap between two war vessels. Their cannons fired, but the blasts missed by inches. Explosions ripped the storm apart. The shock wave threw them forward, straight into open space. Silence followed. For the first time since the chase began, there was no fire, no thunder. Only stars stretched endless before them. Aaron gasped for breath, his body trembling. Lyra collapsed beside him, tears streaking her face. Her glowing eyes softened. "We are free," she whispered. Aaron looked at her, relief washing over him, but deep down he knew it was only the beginning. The Empire would not stop. They had seen him now. A human bonded to the key, a human who destroyed their flagship. The galaxy would whisper, some would call him a savior, others would call him a threat. Either way, his life as a simple waiter was gone forever. Lyra touched his hand, her voice gentle. "You are not alone, Aaron. You have me, and soon more will come. The oppressed, the broken, they will follow you." Aaron stared at her, disbelief in his eyes. "Follow me, I don't even know where I'm going." Lyra smiled faintly. "Then lead anyway." The ship's systems hummed softly. Lights flickered across the panels. It was waiting, ready to carry him to wherever the key would guide. Aaron leaned back in the chair, his chest still burning, his heart still racing. He thought of the night in the cafe, of the girl in the rain, hungry and afraid. He had only wanted to give her food, to show her one act of kindness. That choice had changed everything. Now he sat in the stars with a fleet behind him and a future ahead of him that no human had ever faced.